Okay, now that I've started this audio recording, I just need to have your consent that you are allowing me to audio record.
Yes, I consent.
Okay, perfect. So my first question is, what made you want to go into this profession?
So I come from a background in social work,
Mhm.
and I really wanted to continue helping people in some way, but something that was a little less, I guess, like high risk.
Yeah.
So I thought librarianship was a good way to continue helping people and providing like resources and things like that.
That's really cool. My dad is in social work. He works for El Concilio, so
Cool.
yeah, that's cool. What made you choose Stan State?
So I'm from the Central Valley, so Stan State was kind of a easy choice. So that it was pretty simple. You know, I'm from the area, so it was an easy choice. I didn't necessarily want to move too far, so they were hiring here, and yeah.
That's cool. Okay. What does a day in your life look like as a reference librarian?
So as a reference librarian, the day shifts depending on the day, but a typical day we do a couple hours here on the desk, on the research help desk, and here is where we kind of help students who come by to get help with their research. So that could be like searching for sources, finding books, helping with like narrowing down topic ideas, citation help, all kinds of things. And included in that, we also have our 24/7 chat service, which I just logged into. So we're also answering questions on that chat service at the same time. And usually we each do a couple hours here a day. We also teach instruction sessions for classes who request help with the library. So we usually do it in our computer lab upstairs. And we'll teach instruction sessions on how to use library resources and get into like database searching and give students an opportunity to do their searching while we are there providing support.
Nice. Okay. How has the role as a reference librarian evolved with the rise of digital resources and online databases?
So that actually fits in perfectly to my role because I'm the online learning librarian. So with like the rise of digital things and like online classes or hybrid classes, my role specifically, classes that are online that need those instruction sessions, I provide those. So that can be in the form of like a recording if that's what they want, or it could be like a live Zoom session. In some cases, I create like interactive tutorials if that's what works better for the class, or just like PDF type handouts to help support those classes. So that's one big way that it's changed. My role wasn't one that we had before, before like the rise of online classes, especially with COVID and things like that. But also there's a lot of like all of our like journal articles and things like that. The majority of them are now all online. We do have that's what this is over here, a small like periodical section. Hi.
Okay. And then with what kind of classes, or I guess like students, do you help out most? Like students online or students more on campus?
I think both. We definitely do a lot of on-campus stuff. Like most of our sessions with classes are in person. We don't have too many online ones, but we do get a lot of chats. We get a lot of students asking for help in the chat. That's a 24/7 service that when we're not working, there's other librarians around the world that help with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe the process you use to help someone who is struggling to find specific information for their research?
Yeah, so my process, I usually like to kind of talk about the topic idea that the student's working with. If it's a broad topic, I help them to narrow it down to something more specific. And then I talk to them about like keywords and what words they're going to use to like search for their resources. I like to tell people that keywords are basically like hashtags, because it's like, those main topics that you can click on or you can search and find it just like you would on social media.
Yeah.
And then from there we choose databases and find their resources.
Okay. What resources can you as a reference librarian provide students?
So as a reference librarian, we provide the services here at the desk, and that's research help, so we can help with the various different steps of the research process. We also provide a lot of citation help. That's one of our big questions, is citations. We help with searching, we help with finding items in the stacks, because there's a lot of books here. So sometimes it can be a bit confusing how to find things. We also, like I said, we provide our instruction sessions to classes that request them. We also have all of our online resources. Have you looked at those?
I've tried to, but it's kind of hard to navigate. Like, I've looked. So, like, part of the article that I'm writing about is research librarians and research workshops, and it's kind of hard to pull a lot of information from just the website.
Yeah, so our library website, I can show you one thing in particular. Under our research help tab, so one of the resources that we provide is this, like, how-tos, and this is something that I've taken a big role working on, and this basically has kind of tutorials for each step of the research process, and they're in a lot of different formats. So some people prefer just reading something, some people like watching videos, some people like to learn by like doing. So we have tutorials in a bunch of different formats for people. So that's one of the services I provide myself.
That's really cool. Okay. What are the most common types of questions or requests you receive from students and faculty?
I think the biggest thing we get is finding resources, so including articles and books. And second would be citation help. Yeah.
If you could give a piece of advice to students to make them more confident in the library, what would it be?
To not be afraid to come to us. I mean, we're here for our students. That's the whole reason we sit at this desk.
Yeah.
Because we want people to come by and talk to us and ask us for help. That's why we're here. So I know there's always a little anxiety coming to somebody at a desk, but that's the whole reason we're here. So that's the advice I give.
Describe your experience with planning and executing library programs or events.
So this is not really one that I do myself. We do have research workshops, but that's organized by our librarian, Kevin Augustine. And I think you mentioned you reached out to him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's the one who organizes our research workshops. And I think he does that in collaboration with Learning Commons, with the Writing Center. So that's definitely something that he could probably answer.
Okay, perfect. In your experience, what are the benefits and challenges of working in a university library compared to a public library setting? And if you haven't worked in a public library setting, just like any other places that you may have worked.
Yeah, so I actually, before here, I was working at a middle school library. So it was a lot different.
Yeah.
You know? Of course, the population is a lot different. I think some of the benefits to working here is that the students who come to the library want to come to the library, whereas a middle school student, usually it's just like a requirement in their class.
Yeah.
Some of the challenges, did I write something down? Some of the challenges, I think, is getting people to come to us that are more nervous to talk to people. And that's part of the reason why we offer like those online services like the chat. There's even options to like text us and email us. So getting people to just like kind of let go of that anxiety is always kind of hard. I think that's the biggest challenge. But yeah, like school age students who I worked with before, they're not shy. They would just come to you, you know? So I think that's one of the bigger challenges.
I think as a student, I think the harder part coming here is like you don't know that this is a resource, and so like I feel like a lot of students don't know that people can help you with your papers, and like there's people that will help you just with a lot of stuff. So and that's like the thing with a lot of resources at school. I feel like a lot of people don't know that it's even there.
Yeah, and there's always that like fear of like going and talking to someone, right? Or asking a question and then them not having the answer or something. You don't want to feel that like you were in the wrong for asking that question or something. But that's the whole reason we're here, and everybody on campus, really, all of the services on campus, we're here for the students. So
Okay. Oh, I just asked that one. How could you help engage with students who may not otherwise not come to the library at all? I guess that we kind of just talked about that.
Well, I mean, one thing is like our outreach team does tabling at Warrior Wednesday, so that's one way that they engage with them. I don't go out there too often. I don't get a chance to go out there, but our outreach librarian does. Also, other things like I think this weekend is the Warrior Expo, so like getting to talk to people at those kind of events is always a good way to like attract more people. And I had an opportunity to be at that last year. I'm not going to be able to be at this time, but last year I talked to hundreds of students, so that was awesome.
How was that experience at the Warrior Expo?
Yeah, so it was fun. I mean, it was exhausting because there's like hundreds of people coming to you and talking, but getting to share all the things that we do, because it's not just the research help that we do. We also have other things too, like our special collections up on the 3rd floor. We have events that are not necessarily academic related. We also just created our popular books collection, which is back in that back wall, that little corner.
Mm-hmm.
We created that because students were asking for like fun reading, not just academic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a way that we've tried to help attract more students into the library by giving them what they're asking for.
Nice. Oh, I thought they were going to ask a question. Okay. Can you tell me about a particularly challenging or memorable reference request, and how did you handle it?
So it's hard to think of one in particular because there's so many.
Yeah.
Last fall I had a one-on-one appointment. I had a student request a appointment where we sat down together for like an hour and worked on her research, and she was somebody who had never used any of the library services before, so it was a good opportunity to show someone like one-on-one instead of like in a classroom. They got to see that, they got to experience it and research their specific item like while we were working together. So doing things like that is always really like rewarding, because you can see that they're actually getting the hang of it, and when they find something that's useful for their research, like they get really excited.
Yeah.
So I think that's always a rewarding experience.
Okay, and then last two, in what way do you think your role as a reference librarian can positively affect Stan State students?
I mean, with all the services we provide at the research help desk, so like the research services, we can definitely help make the process a little easier for students. We like to tell students that we're not just here for your research help. If you just want to come talk, we're always happy to do that. Even if they're like not sure where to start and are still brainstorming an idea or something, we can help brainstorm with them. You know, we don't just use the library services either. We can help you find things from, you know, all types of information. So I think that's definitely some way that we can positively affect students.
Nice. And then last question, how do you collaborate with professors and other faculty to ensure that the library supports their curriculum and research needs?
So first, we do provide those instruction sessions. So we have a request for faculty that they can submit a request to do one of those sessions, and a lot of the times we do it in our research or in our computer lab upstairs, but sometimes we can go to the classroom if that's what they prefer. So some of us also collaborate directly with professors who like we know on campus. They'll just reach out to us directly, and we, you know, make those arrangements. But also each librarian is a liaison for several different departments on campus too. So we collaborate with those departments that we're liaisons to. Like myself, I work with the English department, the communications, and social work. So I work with the faculty from those departments, and I help them with those instruction sessions, but also we can get books and other materials for their classes.
Nice. Okay. I believe that is it.